just how do you look at the next three races and your chances of winning to get in?
Well, I think road courses have been pretty good to us. You never know. There's a lot of chaos at the end of them, so at the end of the day, I think we just need to put ourselves in position to execute if SVG were to have something go wrong or whatnot. But I feel like Chris is going to be really tough to beat at the road course. So um, I feel good there. I feel good at Richmond, and as you guys saw at Talladega, we were really really fast, and I felt like we were going to have an opportunity to win there. So I'm sure I'm not on everybody's bingo card to win, but I'd love to be the guy that upsets everybody.
So, kind of following up on what you just said, how intense, I guess, are the strategy meetings this week when you balance between, going for points to address that type points battle, or, recognizing that you could be going against Chris or, someone else for the win?
Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see how intense it is this afternoon because it's typically on Wednesdays. But no, I mean, I think we're just going to continue doing our deal, and that's kind of being different from most. And Chris and Scott have had a lot of success doing it the way they do it. So me, I think we're both going to kind of go down the path that we've been doing, and you know, that's all you can do. I really feel strongly that we are we're coming to our own and really starting to execute races really well, even on days when we aren't the fastest car. And it makes me feel pretty good about these next few weeks.
Hey, I want to ask you about uh, uh, racing against your teammate for a playoff spot. And, we kind of mentioned a little bit about it, but have you two talked about it? You're both racers. You're an aggressive racer. You've had a great year and you're right on the cusp of it. So have you said, hey, listen, when it gets to that, this is what it's going to be, or race me like you want to be raced, or, busted chops about it or anything?
No, to be honest with you, Chris and I race really well together. So I think we have enough respect for each other on the racetrack to do it the right way. Um, and we're going to race hard. I think, between this week and next week, I think both of us, he sees Watkins Glen as a great opportunity to go win and get himself in. And the way I need to race it is going to change throughout that race. And from there that'll lead into Richmond, and if the points battle is really close going into Daytona, obviously we're going to take care of each other when it comes to super speedways. And the last few laps you gotta do the best you can to try and win that race. So yeah, I'm not really entirely sure of how to approach it, I guess, other than the way we've been doing it all year, which is take care of each other and race each other with a lot of respect and don't wreck each other.
Would it be easier if it wasn't your teammate battling it out for the playoff spot or not?
I don't think I would change anything. I typically try to race everybody with the level of respect that I would want back. And when I'm not raced that way, they just get raced the same way back. So yeah, so I don't necessarily think that I would go and wreck somebody to try and get points like that. I'm just gonna race everybody the way I'd want to be raced.
I know at the end of the day, it's all about winning, and that's what you want to be able to do. But when you look at your career and at this point to be racing to have a chance to get in the playoffs, a really good chance, and maybe better so than in other years. What does it mean to be in this type of position? I know it's still about winning races, and this is maybe a step in that process. And I'm sure it's probably taken longer than you would hope in a sense. But what does it mean to be in the spots and to have this opportunity to where, hey, yeah, maybe you win to get in, but there's still also an avenue for you to point your way in, and you could be a playoff driver in 3 weeks.
Honestly, Dustin, that's a great question. And to be honest with you, I've always known that we could compete and execute and do all those things. And I think some, not that I care what others think, but it's felt like I've had to convince others. And outside of this national level sport, whenever I go race, whatever it may be, if it's a late model or a modified, and to where I felt like I had some sort of control over my destiny, we've gone out, we've executed, and we've won. Um, so I knew all along that given the right opportunity and everything coming together, that I could go do this. And so for me, it's satisfying because this has been a grind. It's I'll use Michael McDowell as another example of years and years of grinding and grinding to put together opportunities to where you can succeed. And I'm grateful for the opportunity that's been put together with everybody at RFK to be able to go and show this and have a roadmap to succeed and work hard. And if you put in all that time, that you'll see the success. So yeah, I mean, it'd be nice to go out and win this weekend or one of these next 3 weeks, or have the opportunity to point our way in. I mean, I want to make the playoffs. That's what we kind of said. We want to make the playoffs going into the year. And to be honest with you, I could tell there wasn't a lot of people that had a lot of, didn't have us on our bingo or have us on their bingo card. And I like that. I thrive off that. So, for me now, from a racer standpoint, I want to friggin' win. And I don't just want to win once. I want to win a lot. And we're building, we're building that notebook and together as a group to be able to do that. So I look forward to these next 3 races as opportunities to try and win our way in. But if not, we're going to look at those next 10 races and use them as a way to build and even, try to win, finish out this year, and then carry that momentum into next year.
Obviously, you're in a good situation, but with your experience, and this is the what 8 year overnight sensation type of thing. How long, how much patience is there, or is there impatience in trying to get this done now? Because, yeah, you're in a good situation, and if not this year, okay, yeah, there's next year, but you've been grinding and grinding for so long to get it now and to take that next step.
I'll tell you what, yeah, my path has been nothing short of the easy route. Do I wish I could have had the easy route? I mean, if somebody presented it to me, I wouldn't say no. But there's been a lot of things that I've learned along the way, experiences, who I want to be as a race car driver, and then when it comes to facing a challenge, how to persevere and execute. All the lessons I've learned up to this point, you know, they've made me better as a race car driver. So I'm happy I ended up taking the road that I did, and I'm on the path that I am now. Was it a long one? For sure. There's points where it sucks, but at the same time, that reward of success or succeeding and doing all those things, it's gonna feel that much sweeter. So yeah.
Let's say it is going down to Daytona. Can you talk about the mindset? Because I know super speedway plate racing is very stressful to begin with, and then knowing that that opportunity to make the playoffs. What would be going through your mind as you enter that event?
Hopefully I'm locked in at that point, but if not, I mean, you're just in the situation to where you got to race hard all day. You need to execute stage points. You need to finish the race. You need to put yourself in, having the opportunity to win that race. And that's the challenging thing of it being Daytona is there's a lot of things that are in your control, but there's just as many things that are out of your control. And if we can go out and execute like we did at Talladega, which was having a really successful point day and finish, and we do that at Daytona, we're going to be just fine.
To kind of go off of a little what Dustin was talking to you about, when you talk about the grind that it's been for you, and after the Iowa race, you made a comment that when you were racing with Brad Keselowski, you did what you thought was the right thing for the company. How gut-wrenching was it not to just race him for that position and to let him go?
Well, I don't think it would have been the smart decision, considering he's not only my teammate, he's also part of the owner group. I didn't necessarily let him go. I just didn't fight him as hard as I could have. Um, and at that point in time, they had won 2 stages. They had a really fast car, and I didn't want to be the reason that in our Monday morning meeting, if I held him up for 15 laps and then he happened to run down those guys and have a shot at winning if he had 5 more laps, I didn't want to have that conversation. Um, it just from the teammate perspective, I would hope it would be the same, and I feel like it definitely would. There was a point early in the race that he probably could have forced the issue and potentially put me a lap down. But I was racing my ass off to stay on the lead lap, and that was part in what kept us there.